All right, take three. All right, I'm going live. I haven't gotten live in a while, so this ought to be a ride. Okay, so was Joe Biden lying in the State of the Union? Of course. The question is how. I'm going to explain that to you guys and take a little bit of a victory lap over mainstream media. What I was saying in my other two takes, where I couldn't figure out how to turn on a mic, big brain, is normally I do the too strong coffee mug here and stuff, but I don't have it right in front of me. Instead, I have this one. It's me going, of course, which I just did. It's so meta. It's so meta. What a viewer sent this in. But other merch you can see on shoptyt.com, toostrongcoffee.com/TYT if you'd like to get the best coffee in the world. All right. So when we cover the State of the Union, we tell you that the politicians are lying. And so that's what the rest of the mainstream media, of course, never tells you. And you got the media in both camps, right? Right wingers saying Biden always lies, everything's a lie. Mainstream media saying he's a beloved. Queen Pelosi and King Biden can do no wrong. Don't you dare primary him, you progressives or anyone else, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so, but we tell you guys, look, it's just mainly a marketing campaign that he gets to speak for an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, look at that new member. I like to do shout outs. Lenny Boy. God bless your heart. Thank you, Lenny. Appreciate it. You can do likewise by hitting the join button below while I do the videos, the live videos. I'll give you guys shout outs for that and some super chats as well. So, in and the reality is it's a giant ad, but that means the most of what he says he doesn't actually mean, right? He's just using it for advertising. But most importantly, on his policy proposals. So when he talks about how the economy is doing, that's true, and he gives data that is true. He's not a Republican. He's not lying about that, right? He's not making stuff about a whole cloth. But in terms of what he wants to do, he gets nice applause lines by saying things that are very progressive, right? But Anna and I told you in the play-by-play, he doesn't mean it at all. So now look at how spectacularly right we were. So first of all, on $35 insulin. So they did something like microscopically good. They said for just Medicare patients, insulin prices will be capped at $35. The reason why I say it's microscopic is because they only regulated 10 drugs out of thousands and thousands. And of those, insulin kicked in, price caps kicked in now, but the rest is going to kick in 2026 if it ever gets there. So that is a ploy to cover up the fact that they are not helping you with drug prices on all the other drugs. But at least they did it for Medicare, and it's yay, tiny bit. So Biden says in the State of the Union, hey, you know what, guys? I want a bill that makes that true, not just for Medicare, but for all Americans. And Anna and I were like, I think I cursed. Anyway, BS. Of course, that's not true. Okay. Now, why isn't it true? It's actually super easy to do. It's an incredibly popular proposal. You can put the Republicans in a bind, etc. But no, guys, it's all about the Benjamins. Biden's not Jewish. Okay. That's not what she meant. Anyways, it's all about the money, Lebowski. Of course. The drug companies fund the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. So what's the news out today? Hey, will you look at that? It turns out that Joe Biden didn't mean it. An article out, and of all places, CNBC saying, dead on arrival. It's not going to happen. Okay. Okay, this is when a lot of the mainstream Democrats and certainly the pundits and anchors and consultants and lobbyists will say, how dare you? You're such a child. Didn't you know that the Republicans now have the House? How is he supposed to do anything about that? It's called politics. What you do is you pound them every day with why are they in favor of expensive drugs? Why are they in favor of expensive drugs? But how could he possibly do that? He's only president of the United States of America. He could do it every day if he wants to. And you know, Trump used to pound his message every single day. His message was crazy, but he pounded it. Biden's like, I'd like to make it $35 on insulin for everybody. All right, I'll see you later, guys, and then runs away, okay, because he doesn't mean it. When we said he doesn't mean it, like other reporters and, again, all those people in D.C. are like, outrageous, how can you say that? Okay, that is a member of the elite. He's powerful. If you're in media, you're supposed to kiss his ass. No, we were right. They were wrong. They're not even going to try. The Democrats are never going to try. In fact, if they just kept repeating that message about how Republicans were in favor of higher drug prices, the Republicans would be in disastrous shape. The whole country hates that idea. But no, Democrats always surrender without a fight, and then their fanboys applaud like, "Oh, they're so sophisticated, fourth dimensional chess." No, of course you immediately surrender when you have a winning issue. Okay, so that was point one. I got animated enough, but the reason I'm doing the video is because of the second one. It was also CNBC that, and by the way, if you want to know what's actually happening, CNBC, this is very ironic. They're actually super conservative. In a lot of ways, they're even more conservative than Fox News. But since they're addressing the business community on stuff like this on the bills, they're really good because they just go and talk to businessmen and lobbyists, and that's who controls Washington. So they're very accurate about this stuff. If they're saying it, it's dead. Don't listen to the political reporters. They don't know anything. They don't know the simplest, most fundamental things about politics. Listen to the business reporters, and they'll tell you what's actually going to happen or not, because it's going to affect the markets. So now, in this case, the question was the wealth tax. Is Biden really going to do the wealth tax, as he said in his State of the Union? No, of course not. There's no way he's going to do the wealth tax. All of his donors are super rich. Okay. So now I want to give you these amazing quotes because they show you exactly what we've been telling you. But they're kind of accidentally sharing the truth with you guys. So we're going to go to one of the first quotes, paragraphs that CNBC has is they explain why the wealth tax is also DOA, dead on arrival. Okay. They say the plan is, quote, DOA and stupid to boot, according to billionaire investor Leon Cooperman he told that to CNBC in an interview. Isn't that hilarious? What a funny accidental admission. The billionaires run the country. So the very first person they asked in this article was not a politician, was not a consultant, was not any of those guys. It was a billionaire. And they're like, Leon Cooperman, you voted for Joe Biden. It doesn't clarify that he gave money to Joe Biden, but that's usually how it works. So what do you think? And he's like, I vote no. Joe Biden's done with it. Dead on arrival, said the billionaire. What the hell does he have to do with politics? He has no official position at all, right? But CNBC correctly deduces he's actually in charge. And that's 100% right. Okay, so then you go to then they get to people that work in politics for a living. Well, they also agree. So here we're picking it up. 4 amazing paragraphs in a row that tell you all about politics. The billionaire tax proposal is completely dead on arrival, said Charles Myers, a 2020 bundler for Biden's presidential campaign and the chairman of Signum Global, an investment advisory firm. If he's the chairman of Biden's campaign, that means he raised money for his campaign so that Joe Biden could become president. That means that guy is 10 times more in charge than Joe Biden is. CNBC, again, good job of doing real journalism here. You're actually going to talk to Biden's boss and finding out what's going to happen. And so far, the billionaire said dead on arrival. The guy representing the billionaires and bundling their money said dead on arrival. So it's definitely dead on arrival. A mainstream Democrat would never cross their bosses. This is who they report to. Okay. So now, next paragraph. Myers said the purpose of Biden's billionaire tax announcement, however, was never to jumpstart a negotiation in Congress. He's admitting it. Here's the guy that bundles money for Biden, that actually runs the show in a lot of ways, not by himself, but that collection of people. And he's like, yeah, no. He never meant it. The funny thing is, when I say Joe Biden didn't mean it, the mainstream press is like, outrageous. Can you believe that rapscallion? Okay, then we should banish him. When the lobbyist dude or the finance dude says it, that collects money for him, they're like, oh, okay, that's true. Yeah, that's obviously dead on arrival. Joe Biden has his orders. Wait, then you all know it too. Mainstream media reporters, you all know it. Look at how casually he writes it in. Like, oh, of course Biden didn't mean it. Of course, there's another word for that. It's called lying. Yeah, he said that he was going to do these things, but we all know internally that he is not going to do those things. And good news, mainstream media will cover for him and they'll pretend that he isn't lying. In fact, they'll be outraged if anyone says he is lying. Oh, no, the beloved politicians must be protected. I got more gold. But first, Kathy McIntyre, premium for 26 months. You're amazing, Kathy. Who doesn't love you? Okay. Next paragraph. Last night was Biden's unofficial 2024 re-election launch, Myers told CNBC in an interview. The billionaire tax plan, he said, was part of his campaign messaging points, in quotes. Exactly what we told you. Yeah, this is a giant ad for his reelection campaign. He's going to pretend to be progressive on lowering drug prices, pretend to be progressive on the wealth tax, but full well knowing behind the scenes, he isn't going to do any of that stuff. If he had 98 Democrats in the Senate, he still wouldn't do it. Now, you can say, oh, Jay, that is outrageous hyperbole. Is it? Hold. We got more. He said that Myers told CNBC in an interview. Oh, I told you that part. And then he continues, those tax increases will never get through a Republican House, probably not even through a Democratic Senate. Told you. Even the Democrats don't want to do it. They're all liars. This is the most controversial thing to say in American media when it is to the rest of you the most obvious thing in the world. Blah, blah, blah. And, oh, I'm so progressive. Oh, it's interesting. Now that you're running for re-election, all of a sudden you're a progressive who wants to do a wealth tax and gets, address income inequality. Huh. That's weird. Well, it turns out, of course, it's not weird. As with all of his progressive proposals, he never meant it. So, by the way, progressives in DC, I love you guys, but you ever going to fight back? All right, we'll see. And then last one, not from Myers or Cooperman. They say here, there's another great one. 3 lobbyists with ties to the Democratic congressional leadership told CNBC that they were already hearing indications Wednesday. Remember, the speech was Tuesday. Hearing indications on Wednesday from key lawmakers that there is no interest in the House or the Senate for passing a billionaire tax. Remember, the Democrats control the Senate. So they all go out there on TV and they're like, oh, well, tax standing ovation, yes. Meanwhile, internally, they talk to the lobbyists who give them money and they go, oh, yeah, no, of course we're lying to the American people. Even if Biden proposed it, us Democrats in the Senate would kill it. Even if somehow miraculously the Republicans cared about the average man and passed it in the House, which is impossible. But unless you beat the crap out of them politically, as I explained a little bit earlier, I can come back to that to end. Even if you made it through all those hurdles, they're like, the Senate Democrats are lying. They're not going to pass it either. And we already know that before he put it in Build Back Better, Joe Manchin killed it. And if he hadn't killed it, Sinema would have killed it. But guys, I got news for you. If those two hadn't killed it, 48 other Democratic senators would have killed it. The people that are in favor of the wealth tax is Bernie Sanders and probably Elizabeth Warren. It's her signature issue, but probably. Okay, but I'm not even positive. So they're frauds. They're all frauds. All these politicians are frauds. Don't listen to the mainstream media sweet talking you about how important the powerful people are and how you should never criticize them. They tell you the very next day from quotes from finance guys, lobbyists, billionaires, we were, of course, lying to you guys. Now Biden will do exactly what we tell him. And guys, so the last 2 things is on Republicans. Don't get it twisted. Like the fake left will then end the video here and tell you, or they say, oh, Republicans, you never know. They look really populist. Oh, man, they're really good on the vaccines. Oh, yeah, don't take the vaccines. Or whatever the hell they tell you. No, the Republicans are worse. It clowns to the left of us, jokers to the right of us, okay? The reason they can't get it through the House is because every Republican is going to be like, no, protect the billionaires at all costs. Hey, if you're a right-winger and you see me being honest with you about Biden, Pelosi, and the rest, isn't it weird that no one in right-wing media tells you, oh, yeah, of course, when Trump does a State of the Union, he's also lying. And of course, the Republicans are never going to pass a billionaire wealth tax. They love billionaires. All of their campaigns are funded by those billionaires and the corporations they serve. Really, are you that much of a schmuck on the right or the left that you believe whether they're Democrats or Republicans, when they take money, millions or even billions, they are not affected? It's just the meanies on the other side. But my side would never be affected. Pelosi's an angel. Trump is an angel. How can you possibly believe that? Washington is awash in corruption. They're all corrupt. That's what campaign contributions are. They're legalized bribes. All right, so how in the world could you get it to pass if you wanted to pass? It's actually not that hard. You just go out there and say 1,000 times, especially if you're Biden, it's so Easy. Republicans are for higher drug prices. Republicans are for higher drug prices. You have that has the benefit of being true. If you actually put the $35 insulin thing, you're actually not even risking much. You're still helping all the other drug companies who are your beloved donors. I mean, this is the bare minimum. But if you actually wanted insulin to be capped at $35 for everyone and not just Medicare patients, you have all of the facts on your side. You have about 90% of the American population on your side, and you just make them debate you in the press, and you just keep, and you know what, call them names. Okay, say they sold out, say that they are taking bribes from drug companies. Feel the outrage, oh my god, and then that'll be a bigger story, and then everybody will be talking about it. And even some Republican voters by then will be like, wait, why are we for higher drug prices? Are we sure we're for higher drug prices? Because I don't really like higher drug prices. And wait, we pay 10 times what other wealthy nations pay for the same exact drug? Why are we the suckers? Why are we paying 10 times more? Have you ever seen Democrats say that and over again until they have you ever seen them do this on any issue? On so many other issues, they have 80% popularity or higher. Have you ever seen them break a Republican in your life? Look, guys, if you're not going to do it, the Democrats politicians, just step out of the way, Butch. I got this. Okay. But you got to fight them and you got to break them. And is that possible? Of course it's possible. Lyndon Johnson broke half the Senate to pass the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. The Dixiecrats didn't want to pass it, and he made them pass it. Why? How? He used the bully pulpit and was actually literally bullied them. That's called hardball. That's actually elementary politics. But every political reporter in the country will lie to you and pretend it's fourth dimensional chess no one could ever figure out. Oh my God, you're asking the Democrats to actually fight back and lower the other guys' poll numbers until they're worried that they're going to lose their elections and then they'll actually break and vote with you? Oh my God, that is so revolutionary. That's radical. No way, that'll never work. FDR did it. LBJ did it. Every successful president did it. It's elementary politics. If you just get past the gaslighting, it's the whole point of Washington, D.C., both the Washington media and the Washington politicians, is to gaslight you. Okay. So now you just heard the truth. All right. Much love, guys. See you next time.